Hello YouTube, Mr. Evans here with my vlog number 111. That's really catchy. I like saying that. I feel like you should have one of those air horns. 111. You know the thing I'm talking about, right? The internet. Ugh, this vlog's already off to a bad start. But 111 is a really cool number, so excited about that. Today is Wednesday, even though it kind of felt like a Tuesday. It's kind of nice. A lot of times Wednesdays feel like Thursdays, but this one felt like a Tuesday, so real cool. And the time is 5:08. I'm gonna try and keep this quick because I do have to get somewhere, but I probably won't be able to, just being honest, you know, knowing me. But to check in about the day before we do the wonder quote, there were rough moments today, but in general, I was happy. I tried some different things today, stuff that I wasn't sure would work, and coming out of it, I would say I'm not sure that it did work, so to speak, but I will say that it worked better than it could have. And I definitely can't say that it didn't work. I don't want to get too specific on that, but I'm pleased. I think that students got, maybe they didn't get a ton out of this lesson, but they got, like, if I had tried to cram too much into it, it would have been, that they wouldn't have gotten anything. I think that what this did get across, they're going to be able to use practically, because this was test prep. So hopefully this will actually be helpful. You know, I always felt like lessons on testing strategies, there wasn't enough practicality there. It was just like giving advice. This, I felt like, you know, actually they got to kind of see in practice how this stuff would work out. And so just really, really pleased with how well it went. But let's talk about the wonder quote of the day, because this is one that I've always loved. And it's by Thomas Jefferson. When you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. And a lot of times I give these quotes where then I say something like, it's true, but let me qualify the statement, let me explain why that might be hard sometimes. This one, none of that. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I mean, I'm going to sugarcoat things a little bit because that's kind of what I've agreed to do on this vlog, but things, to put it in the bluntest way that I can without getting too specific, this is just a very difficult time of the year. Honestly, these vlogs are starting to help me realize that it's maybe not that negative. There's some positivity that comes out of every day, but there's also a lot of negativity. A lot of frustration. Over break, I realized something. I realized that I was really jumpy over break. Like, you know, I'd start to drop something and I would just, my whole body would immediately flood with these hormones and I'd leap for it. And I was just kind of like, this is weird. Why am I more anxious? Because I'm not normally like this. And then I started to wonder, is it because I am so activated all the time that this is me when I'm relaxed? I don't know. And you know, I really don't know for sure. But there is definitely a lot of anxiety crammed into every day. And around this time of the year, everybody starts to go a little stir crazy because, as I mentioned yesterday, this is the longest stretch we go without having some time away for self-care, you know, and self-care is so important. I mean, the best way I've heard it put is you got to sharpen that saw, right? You're trying to do this job, just like a lumberjack is trying to use this saw to saw down a tree. We're trying to do a job. We're trying to get into the minds of our students, but you got to sharpen that saw. You got to take care of the instrument that's doing the job, and we are the instruments that are doing this job. We got to take care of ourselves in order to be able to do it effectively. You got to sharpen that saw, right? But around this time of the year, many of us start to reach the end of our ropes, and then, you know, we we get some time away in April and climb the rope back up again a little bit during the break. And then, I mean, once April hits, school year is practically over. Even though there's quite a bit of time left, it goes by so fast. But this time of the year is where things drag. And so, end of your rope, when you reach the end of the rope, tie a knot and hang on. The reason I like that so much is that it speaks to, what's the word even? Determination, maybe? Perseverance? Endurance. That's what it was I was looking for. It speaks to endurance. Rather than resilience. I think a lot of times it's like, when things are hard, find some positivity and recover. But a lot of times it's just, you realize that you're in this path. You can never recover all the way, you know? You go down by 10, you bring yourself back up by 7. Next time you go down by 10 again, you bring yourself up by, you know, maybe even higher, like 8, but you're still lower than you started with, because you started at a 20 and now you're only up by 15, you know? I don't know if that math went over your head, but basically what I'm saying is you can never fully recover. And so each time you're hit with the stress, each time you're hit with the things that, I shouldn't even say stress, just things that wear away your patience. Because sometimes, you know, dealing with situations is not stressful, it's just that it takes a lot of patience. And patience isn't infinite. So if I don't gain it all back, and then I lose more than I have recovered, I haven't been fully resilient. And so I feel like this idea of resilience, you know, just find a positive thing to build you back up, it works, but not long term. And the answer to me sometimes feels like it's just that quote, right? It's just hold on, just endure. And it may be hard, and the stress may be there, but this is, I think, what we're very good at as teachers. We have taught ourselves to feel all of that difficulty, all of that anxiety and stress, and still keep pushing forward. Even though we can't climb back up, even though we can't fully recover, we can hang on to what we do have and keep trying the best. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, YouTube, and I'm happy to have you along for the journey. But like I said, it's not all negative, and there were a lot of positives. Thinking about today, I'll tell you the 3 moments that made me smile, because there were a couple, there were a few. And you know, today was in general a good day. I'm happy with it. So there were actually quite a few moments that made me smile, but one of them kind of caught me off guard. I have these booklets that we're using this week, and so just to kind of get prepped for the day as the students were doing their warm-up, I took the stacks of books and just put them on there was an empty desk up at the front, so I put the stacks of booklets on the desk so that when the time came I could say, pass these down. And the time came, and I realized that one side had already done it without me having to say a single word. Just they, on their own, took the initiative to get their books out of the pile and pass the stack downward. And it just so blew my mind. It was just like, wow, this, you know, and part of it is that working out of like booklets and paper and stuff is kind of a typical traditional model of education way of doing things, and so many of them were probably accustomed to that, and so they weren't surprised, nor were they waiting for directions because they already knew what they were going to be. But still, the fact that they made the choice without me cueing them in, it just makes me feel so like I can trust them, you know? Along the same lines, another moment that made me smile was one student actually asked in one of my other classes to pass those booklets out. She just was like, oh, Mr. Evans, can I help you get these passed out? And I said, like, you know, yeah, sure, go ahead and start passing them down now. Nope, she didn't. She stood up and passed them out to every single person. It was just so great because it helps keep transitions so tight when I don't have to waste time getting them passed out. They're just kind of, we're ready for the next thing, and you already have your book in front of you, so now open it up and let's go. Also was very happy with how well the listening exercises we did today went. I was a little worried about them, as I should have been, because some of the problems that I was afraid were going to crop up did crop up. But but regardless, I think many students still were able to kind of get the main point of the exercise, so it's good. And the last thing that made me smile, well, there were other things that made me smile, but the last big thing that comes to mind is I got an apology from a student. But the thing is, when students apologize, they don't always mean the same thing. You know, there was a problem that cropped up, and a lot of times when a student apologizes in the moment, you know, they're talking or they do something they're not supposed to, and I just kind of give them the teacher eye. And they'll go, sorry. I think that when that happens, that's more an attempt on their part to ameliorate the situation, which honestly I can respect. I can respect that they recognize they've done something wrong and they would rather not escalate it. But this particular one that I'm talking about, the thing the student apologized for, came after the incident. When it actually happened, he actually didn't apologize. He was like, I didn't do anything. It wasn't until later when we crossed paths and he didn't even have to say anything, but he did. He said, I'm sorry about today, Mr. Evans. And it's just really cool to see a student not only choose to be responsible, but to choose to speak up. It's not like I prompted him to do it. It's not like I said, hey, think about your actions and see if you want to apologize to me. It was, he could have kept on walking, but he felt the need to seek that connection with me, to maintain that relationship, which says that in his mind, it's worth something. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, what time is it? Time for me to get out of here. Like I said, I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep it quick, but I do hope that you got something out of this vlog, because talking about this stuff is really important to me, and I'm happy that you get to that I get to do it with you. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye bye, YouTube. Oh, whoops. That's what happens when I don't press the stop button.